illustrate the lower part of the wedding gown, the width I'm using for the lower part is 30 and the length for the front is 51. So to calculate the radius, now I divided that 30 by 2, that is 15 inches. Now we are dividing the 30 by 2 because the front is going to be cut separately from the back. So 15 for the front, 15 for the back, that was why I got 15. Now to cut the front, I will divide the 15 of the front by 4, and what I got is 3.75 plus 2 inches. These 2 inches is constant for me while working with this type of flay. So what we got is 5.75. So on the flay, why I wanted to cut the front, I measured the radius at 5, then I cross-check it, it was okay, then I used 5. Assuming it wasn't okay, I would have increased it to 5.75 or 6. So always cross-check your radius with your measuring tape before cutting out. So the total length for the front now will now be 51, which is the length plus 5, that is equal to 56. So the total length of fabric I will be folding for the front must be minimum of 56. So by the time I remove 5, I'll be left with 51. Also consider this seam allowance for the lower part. So I added 1 inch seam allowance at the lower part. So at the end of the day, what I add is 57. Okay, so the front is going to be on a fold of 4. The back is going to be 2 pieces. So the front is going to be 1 piece. The back is going to be 2 pieces. So let's just go ahead and start. This is my fabric. Okay, so I folded it into 2 for the front. I'm cutting out the front first. So I'm folding this into 2. Then after folding it into 2, we fold it also on bias, making it to be on a fold of 4. So this is what I have. Then from here, measure 57, measure 57, measure 57, measure 57, measure 57. So at the end of the day, this is what I had for my 57. Okay, and the radius I said I am using for the back for the front is 5 inches. So from there I measured 5. From there I measured 5, measured 5. So at the end of the day, this is my 5 inches. So I will just go ahead and cut it out. But before cutting this out, I'm going to use my measuring tape to cross check. So when I measure my 5, I'll put my measuring tape and measure what I have here. I had something like 4. So 4 in 4 places, that is 16. And what I needed was 15. So I had extra 1 inch, which is okay because I will be joining the front by the side. So before you cut this plate out, make sure you cross check your radius. So when I checked my it was perfectly okay. So I just went ahead to cut it out. At the end of the day, this is what I have for the front. So you can see how full the front is looking at. So the front is 2 layers. So that there's another layer on top of the front, and the hem is zigzag-like. So how I did that, I used the same radius, but the length of that one, don't forget that the length of my flip for the front is 51. For the second layer that is going to be on top of it, the length I use is 27. So let me just show you I cut it. So this is the paper. This is the fabric I want to use for the second layer on the front. So what I did is I folded it into 2. Just the same way I did the front, I also folded it on bias. So I told you I use the same radius. So the radius I use there is 5. So, and I said the length of this one is 27. That means the total of my folding here is 31 plus 1 inch, that is 32. The 1 inch is for folding the M. So after this is my 32. So I calculate the radius is 5, just like the front. So I did that. So this is the radius from here to here 5, here to here 5, here to, just like the front. So I marked it. So from here to here is 28, that is 27, the initial length I need plus 1 inch for folding of the hem and joining. So this is 28. So see this 28 now, I'm not going to mark it across like I did for the front. What I just did was this 28, I just cut it out straight. Then I also cut out my radius after confirming that it's okay. So at the end of the day, this is what I have for the second layer. can see the way it's looking like. So I keep this and place it on top of the front. So you can also see the way it's looking like. So let me just pin it together. So after pinning them, matching it up at the radius, matching it up side to side, you can see the way it's looking like. So the paper, that is where you can see the front. So what I did for the front, before going ahead to cut the back, I whipped the edge of this first layer. Then I also folded this in, then match up this one and this one together at the way and by the side, and make a whole one piece for the front. Then go ahead to cut the back. So the back is much more longer than the front because I added cocket, but the cocket was cut together with the dress, so the back was much more longer than the front. So the first thing I did for the back, I told you the back will be cut in two pieces. So to cut the first pieces, I have my fabric like this, then just fold it into two. I am cutting the first part, just fold it into two this way. Okay, to the length. So for the radius of the back, I also use 5 each. So by the time I measured 5 from here, measure everything. But by the time I cross check, it was 5. So when I open it up, that will be 10. So 10 in two places, that is 20. So I have excess because I really need excess at the radius for this bag because I'll be joining it at the side to the front, and I will also be joining it at the middle. So I need excess here. I can always trim the excess off. Better to be more than to be less. So when I measure the 5, it's 5 I also use for the back here. So for the length, I use 75. So from here, I measured 75, measured 75, measured 75, measured 75, measured 75, measured 75 round. So by the time I'm done, I measured my 75, then I cut it out. But always remember to cross-check this place, please. See the back. So when you open it, this is what you have. This is just one piece of the back. I will cut another back pieces exactly the same thing as this one. So the two pieces for the back is already here. This is the two pieces for the back. So after cutting these two pieces for the back, I will open them up, mark them on top of each other, right side facing right side. This is the upper part. This is one side. This is another side. So I will be making use of one of the side. So one of the side is going to serve at the area where I will join to the front. Then this other side will be the center of my back. Okay. So this one I want to use to join to the front. I am going to reduce the length to be the same thing at the length of the front. And don't forget that the length of our front is 51. So I will just measure my 51 from here to here. This is what I have at 51. Then use pin to hold your fabric together. Then from the head here, from the head of my fabric here, I will measure something like 50 to this side because this cloth is really voluminous. So I won't have all the time to open it up when I'm cutting on the fabric. That's why I'm using a paper. So connect from this 51 to this 50 just with my free hand. So actually when I was cutting the fabric, it extended a bit more than the 50 to around 15 inches more, to roughly 65, because whatever you are doing must be smooth. So after cutting it, this is what we have. So you can see this side. This is where we'll be joining to the front. You can see the way it comes and go down to this side. Then this one will be the center of the back. So I will just pin this place together and let's see how the way it's looking like. So at the end of the day, when you be placing it, this center back, the center back will be matching up. Then this other part will be the front, will be where you will join to the front. Then this is your radius. And see it. So this is the way it's looking like. It's really flowing and it's beautiful. So let's go to the cutting table to cut out the main fabric.